Today at Bargello-a-GoGo I'm going to be showing you how to make this four-way Bargello design on this wooden trinket box here. The boxes are available on my website and they come like this, and like I said, they're great for storing things like jewellery, any little bits and bobs that you may have that you want on the side. It just makes it really pretty by adding this design on. And you can just stitch through here with these circles here. So on this particular example I've used 3 different shades to make this design. You can pick whatever shade you want to use. You may want to add in more shades, but I just thought I'd show you this one with the shades I've used on here. So to make this trinket box you're going to need one of the boxes. Like I said, they are available on my website, and then you can mix and match and choose your own tapestry wools. You may already have some, or you can pick some from my website. I have a wide variety of shades you can choose from. So for this middle one here I have used shade 501A in the Appletons Tapestry Wool. It's 100% pure English wool and it's a 4-ply, and they come in 10-metre skeins, and you'll find that 1 skein of each is enough for this design. And then for the next outer part of this darker, sort of more burgundy edge, I have used shade 759, again of the Appletons wool. And for the final part, well, it's this really lovely yellow shade, I have used shade 555 of the same wool. Now the other things you'll need, apart from the wool and the box, is you're going to need a size 18 tapestry needle to enable you to sew the tapestry through the grid here. You're also going to need some embroidery scissors so you can snip your threads. I'd also recommend potentially a pencil. So when we start the design we're going to start in the centre, so you could possibly just mark off the centre circle that you need here to put your first stitch through. And when, as you can see here, when you put the tapestry wool through you won't see the pencil mark, so it's something you could use on there. And then another possible optional thing to use is also a crochet hook, and again I will show you why that might help you once we are making this. This one's a 3mm crochet hook. Anything of that size would be fine. So first of all we're just going to remove the lid from the box, and we're just going to put that to one side. This is the main part that we want to be working on when doing this design. And what you're going to do first of all is count along 16 circles, just using your pencil. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now when you get to the 16th hole there, you're going to count up 16 more, so including this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So right there is your centre. So what I'm just going to do is just do a little pencil mark just around that circle that I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera here, but if you can mark that you'll be able to see it yourself on there, and that's just to help you know where the beginning of the design starts. So once you have marked on your centerpiece where the first stitch needs to go, you're then going to pull an arm's length of the shade 501A tapestry wool and just snip that off. So I use a size 18 tapestry needle for this type of wool, which I find works really well, and it is also fine for sewing through these holes. So how I would start the Bargello on this particular piece is I would do like a little, I just knot the bottom of the wool. I tend to just wrap it around my needle like a quilter's knot a couple of times, and I just pop that through. It doesn't matter how that's going to look because you're going to snip that off. So rather than what I would normally do is hold it at the back and go through from front to back, because it's quite a small area here, you might find that a bit fiddly to do and try and hold it as you're sewing, especially as you start to work outwards. So I've marked my centre dot, actually marker pen. I wouldn't recommend doing this, it's just so I can show you on the camera exactly where I mean. It's just easier to see than the pencil I was previously showing you before we start. And like I said, you would just do that in a light pencil. It's just so you can see on the camera here. So what I would do is I would work that a few down at the, because we're going to be sewing at an angle initially on the stitching here. So what I would do is I would work a few down on the outside. I would count down a few just sort of diagonally, just around there. So I think I've counted down diagonally sort of 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 circles, and that's where we're going to be starting our first bit of stitching. And I would just pull that through from front to back like that. So you've got that little knot showing there. But then what we're going to do is pop the needle through our centre starting point. And what you'll see is you've got, without having to hold your finger on it, you've got that actual strand held in place at the moment with that knot. So the aim is, what we will do is sew over that as we do the stitching. So the first thing you would need to do is count down 4 circles, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So there'll be 5 in total from where you've actually pulled the wool through. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you include that one, it's 5. But you're counting down 4 from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're just going to make your first stitch like so. And now we're going to go down an angle. So what I'm kind of doing is just using my finger to hold that at the back there a bit, just so I make sure the thread goes over it. So you've now made your first stitch, and as you can see at the back it's secure with this temporary knot we've put in here. So the way the Bargello stitches work on this particular design, it's slightly different to my other videos as well. So instead of, normally we'd count down several squared, like 3, and then go through, we're actually doing it on a one basis. So by that I mean you go to the row next door and you go 1 below where you previously worked on the stitch. So it's 1 across and 1 down, and then you're going to count 4 squares again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And at the same time we're just going to try and cover this thread here just to secure it in the sewing. So again, along from there you go 1 and you count down 1 like that. You're just going to pull the needle through and you're going to count down 4 again. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And we just follow this sequence for a total of 6 of these stitches. So I'm just making sure again, I'm just pulling that down with my nail just to catch the back of that thread, just to secure it. And again we just go down 1 and you pull it through, and then you count down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again I'm just going to try and catch that thread underneath with my nail there, and again you're counting down 1 below the previous one worked. You're going to pull your needle through and count down 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carefully snip that knot away, that temporary knot, making sure I don't catch the other threads, like so. And then you'll see that's worked in there, the thread, and that's nice and secure. So we're going to do a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is 6 on the box here. 1, 2, 3. So we need to do one more of those stitches, where again we just go down and then we count down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we just pop our needle back through. So now we need to work through our centre stitches again. So you should have enough room with your needle to be able to just slot that back through to the starting point underneath. So you're just going to put your needle through the back and pull that through. And then what you're going to do, go back to this centre hole here, and you're just going to put your needle back through to where the previous beginning stitch was. If you can see there. Sorry, it's a bit difficult, the black marker in the way, but there's a hole there and it's sharing the same hole if you put your needle back through. And I find the easiest thing to do here is just to rotate the square here for this four-way Bargello design, and I'm going to count up 4 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I'm just going to pop my needle back through. And then you kind of want to make this kind of like V shape. Ignore this kind of oversewn bit, that comes later, but there's like a V shape underneath. So what you then you do is you go to the one next door and you just go back into that hole there. So you're going to go into each of these holes up here. And you just, again, you count up 4 holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll go in again one above the previous work stitch there, and then you just continue this process for the same amount of stitches as you worked previously on the other one, so a total of 6 stitches, and again you're just going up 1 every time, and you're just going into this little hole there and then up 1. And then it's always 1 up from the previous one. And then you've just got 1 final stitch there. And again, just 1 up. So again, once we've done that, them stitches there, so a total of 6, we need to get back to this centre point again, because we're starting centre and working outwards with this design. So we start the centre and we come out with all these different stitches here. So again, at this point there should be enough room to just wiggle your needle through those stitches and just pop that through. And then just pull your needle, so it can be a little fiddly. You just grab your needle and pull that gently through. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to go back through this centre one that's been marked here. We're just going to pop our needle through that centre hole where the previous stitches have been worked before. And we're just going to pull our needle back through, and this time we're going to count across on this along 4 here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and as you can see again I'm rotating that whilst I do that. And then once you've done that one, I'm just going to rotate it back. And I'm going to go into this stitch here, just above it there. And again, I'm just going to count 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just going to pull that through. And again, you're just going to do that for 6 stitches, and then you count up a stitch. And you just do the same here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you just continue that and count the 4 again. So you're just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to do one more. So again, I'm just going up a hole each time. So across and up 1. You count 4 again. And then what we're going to do, because we haven't got a lot of thread left, I'm just going to thread that underneath and pull that through. And just snip off the excess thread there. Because ideally you want to make it nice and neat underneath. But when you remove the lid, you've got, you know, it still looks like a bit of the pattern on the other side too. So I've got another piece of thread here, and again I've just done a little knot at the bottom that I'm going to put the right side through like we did earlier, and I'm just going to start that again around an angle around here, so it will, when I join here, we can stitch over it as we go. So I'm just going to pop it around there, I think. Pop that through. Again, you'll get a feel of where to do that when you know roughly where your stitches kind of need to go. And then I'm just going to go back through that centre. And then I'm going to go one up from where the centre was previously worked. We're kind of doing this kind of V-shaped stitching, but you can just rotate it around. But it's still a straight stitch in effect. So you're just going to pull that through, and again you're just going to count up 4. And you're just going to go into each of the previously worked ones here. So where the other stitches are, you're just going to share the circle and pop your needle through and just count up 4 each time. So they all join together like they did on that one here. And you're just doing the same here. You're just doing that same repeat. So counting up 4 every time as you do that and going through. And you'll see on the other side how it's caught the thread underneath. So what you can then do, just got one more to do here, like that, and then you just again count up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's always one above the one previously worked. So it's always one above, like that. And you're just going to gently snip that away, this knot here. And again, that's just neatly tucked up in there and nice and secure. So we have enough length on this thread still to go back and do the next. You're basically doing 2 more of these the other way. So we're just going to thread our needle back through the centre. Like so. So we just rotated it and we're going to start in this centre part again. So I'm just going to pop it again back through the middle circle here. You might find now it's getting a bit tighter as you pop this through because you've obviously got several threads already in that small circle, but your needle will go through. You just need to put a bit of pressure on and pull that through, and that'll go through. And then I'm just going to rotate it again, and I'm just going to count again 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you can see, we've got the beginning of this stem stitch here that we're going to be doing. So then we're just going to work at this angle now. So again, you pull through the thread and you count up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're just going to go along and one up every time, like you've done on the previous ones. So you're kind of reflecting these angles here and these stitches. They should all fall in the same similar holes as you're going along. There's one up and then across and up, and you just pull your needle back through, and again you repeat that for 6 stitches as well. So once you've done your 6 stitches along there, you're then going to rotate it again, and you're just going to do some more straight stitches. So you're going to go into this first one here, into the same, you can see there, to the same circle that previous stitch was worked, and again you're just going to pop your needle through, and then you're going to count up 4 here, so you're forming that V shape still. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And then you're just going to work 1 across and down each time till you get back to the centre here. So you go across and 1 down, you can see there, up there. And again you just pull your needle back through, and then what you do is you just pop your needle back into that previous worked stitch there. So it shares a circle, shares a love by sharing a circle with the other thread there, because you don't want a gap. If you was to put it in the circle next to it, there would be a gap and you wouldn't get this shape. So again, you just go 1 down, like so, across and 1 down, and you pull your needle back through. And it just goes through like that. And again, you do the same on the next one. And you just pull it back through. And again, you just do it on that one as well. And then it's just matching these little V's here. You can see there. And then you just go back into that hole there. And you're just pulling that through. So next you're just going to mirror this image here again of where you worked the previous stitches. So you're just going to go above the centre one there. So you wanted to mirror the rest of these stitches here. So you're just going to pull your needle through, and again you're just going to count up 4 circles, and you'll find it sort of matches that one over here, and then it will as you go up again. So again you just go up 1 square, and then you count up 4 and you pop your needle back through, and you do that again for a total of 6 stitches on this one as well. So you're just going 1 across and up 1, and then counting up 4 circles and going into the 4th circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and going back into that circle there. And there you've got a total again of 6 stitches. And again, I'm just going to weave this in the back because it's getting a bit short now on the tail end of that. And again, you just pop it through. You can snip off the excess there. Again, just to try and keep that as neat as possible at the back on there for you. So again, I've just put in a knot there, and then I'm going to start it underneath, again on the wrong side now, and you're going to wrap over that as you sew the stitches. So we're just going to start here. I've rotated it, we've just got one left to do on here now. So what we're going to do is just go into this hole from the other side that's there. Just again get this kind of V shape to match this one. So I'm just going to go into that hole there, like so, and pop my needle through. And then I'm going to count up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pop my needle back through. And at the same time, you want to make sure you're going over this when you hold your finger there, just sort of make sure that's going in. And then you go into the next hole there. And again, you count up 4. And as you can see, I'm wrapping around that stitch where we've got the knot coming through. And I'm just going around that each time. And again, we just go into that next hole. And again, we count up 4. And we're just going over this each time on the back. And again, we do this for a total of 6 stitches. And you're just going one up every time. I've just got one more to do there. And again, just go one up there, just moving that knot out the way. And you'll see, again, it's neatly tucked in everything underneath there. And you're just going to snip away the excess of this knot. Try not to catch your stitches whilst you do that as well. So there we go. So that's your first little bit completed. So what we've got to do now is put these long stitches in. And the reason we do that is just to cover the sort of openings here, because you can see a bit of the wood through it still. So it just makes a nice finish on there. Thread this back again through to the centre, just over a couple of stitches like that. And just pull that through with your needle. You might need to just pivot it with your thumb just to get that through there, and then push it through. Try not to get under the rest of the stitches because you just want to get back to that centre point. Saves you having to recut the thread and re-sew it and join it. The less thread you've got underneath from recutting and joining, the better really, to make it neater. So all we're going to do now is just go through that centre hole again. And as you can see, any pencil marks you had would have been very well covered up. I mean, I've put this on, obviously, as you know, as a marker pen, and that's covered that quite well still. So you're going to go back through that centre hole again. And as I said, unfortunately at this point it is getting thicker, but again, you just got to pull that needle through. And what you're going to do is you're just going to pop your needle into that point there, so one above the work V shapes, and you're just going to pop that down. So that's one of your long stitches covered there. And then all you're going to do is go back down. So you actually, because it's all one, it doesn't matter if it goes straight down that way. So again, you know, unfortunately you have to go back through that centre one, which I know by this point it's getting rather bulky, but you can still get your needle through it. Just gently push that through, and then just grab it from the top and pull it through, like so. Like I said, it's just getting a bit slightly thicker there, but make sure you keep that quite taut, and then you just go back through. So on there, the one above the V, you just pop your needle through there, and then you go back through the centre again. Just gently tug it and wiggle it, and it'll come through. And then you're just going to go into that one at that top, and again you're just going to pull that through. So you've got that covered there. I mean, if you didn't want to do that bit, you could just leave it like that. If that doesn't bother you having that wood showing through, it's entirely up to you. It's just I quite like the style with this extra stitch on there. And again, you're just going to go back through this centre part and just gently wiggle your needle through. And again, you're just going to pull that back through. And just give it a little wiggle, and it should just come through quite easily then. And you shouldn't break the wood or anything, it should just come through fine. Just like I said, just gently wiggle it through, and again just making sure you keep the previous one quite taut on there. And again, you're just going to rotate it, pivot it there, and then pop your needle back through just above this V here. So pop it through there, and again that's your first part completed, as you can see on there. So we're again just going to weave it in the back. It's there, just to keep that tidy. And there you can see you've got the nice neat finish there. So on the next piece, we're just going to now work around like this. So it's almost like the same sort of pattern, but sort of comes out a bit more on the edge of the box. So on this one, we're going to use 759, and again you're just going to pull an arm's length of this tapestry wool and snip that. So again, to start this, I've just knotted the end of my thread, and I'm just going to go right side to wrong side, just in the centre of a V here, and pull that through. And then I'm going to start up here on this bit here. So first of all, I'm going to go back into that same circle where the previous stitch was worked, and then I'm going to pull my stitch through, and then I'm going to count 4 circles up again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to pull my needle back through. What you do is you go into that same circle next door, so where the previous stitch was worked, so you just go across and down into that circle, and again you count up 4. So you're always going 1 down on this one, stepping down your stitches, but just by 1, like that. And you're going to repeat that until you get down to the bottom here with each stitch. And then when you get to this stitch here, you're just going to remove this knot like you have done previously. Just gently snip that without snipping the remainder stitches. And then what you're going to do is just continue following the shape of the previous one. Again, just counting the 4 stitches up, or 4 circles up, and then you're just sharing each one of these, and you're going to work like that, counting 4 circles each time up and going in to the 4th circle to create the straight stitch up to this point here. So once you get to that part, you're then going to do this kind of V shape again, a bit like what you did here, and you're going to mirror that on this side here. So all you're going to do is you're going to go from where the pink one is there, you're going to go 1 across and 1 up, and pop your needle through, and then you're going to count 4 down again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and pop your needle through. So you go straight into that where that previous long stitch was worked there, and then you're just going to do this V shape again, like there, so like you did on this one. And what you're going to do is you're literally just going to go up for a total of 6 stitches again on there. So again, it's literally across and 1 up in the circle there, and then you count 4 up, and you do that until it's a total of 6 stitches along here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll show you that again, and it's again 1 up and through, and 4 you count, and then needle back through, and you're creating this kind of shape again. You're just continuing it through with a different colour and effect to create what you've created there with that V shape. So once you've done a total of the 6 stitches there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it takes you to that top corner. You're just going to pop your needle back down to, from the wrong side of the work, back through to where that hole is there, where that previous stitch was worked. I don't know if you can see, sorry, the wool's a bit dark there to see, but what you're going to do is you're just going to pop that back through, and I'm just rotating it there because you're just going to do your stitches up again, just mirroring this V shape here. So you're just going to pop your needle through and you're going to count up 4 circles again. So again, it just comes to that top edge there, and then you're just going down 1 circle at a time and across. So across and 1 down, and then you're just sewing 4 down into that same stitch where the previous one was worked, and you just pull that through like that, and you just continue to work that like so. And you'll just repeat that until you get down to the bottom and this point here again. Now once you've done that V shape, we need to do another of these long stitches like we did on here. So what I'm going to do is just this is how it looks on the underside. So we're going to be going back up here, so we're going to pop our needle through the one just above the V's in that circle there, and we're just going to pop our needle through, and then you're just going to, again, where the join is of the 2 stitches there from the pink to the burgundy coloured one, there's a little hole there in the V, so where this previous long stitch was, you're going back into that circle, and you're just going to, again, just gently wiggle that through and just pull. So gently wiggle the needle through, and then that should just come through, and you've secured that one there. And then like this one, we're just going to do another pattern repeat again over the 4 circles to the top of here, like this one. I'm not going to show you again that. If you'd like to see it, I'd recommend rewinding back just so you can see how that was done. But it was literally, you go into the top one next like that, where you share the circle, and you count up 4, and then you just work downwards like so, always going 1 across and below each time. So I've now done that side, which is the same as how I did it that side, and I've joined in another piece of thread here. That's another of my temporary knots while I'm joining this in, and that's how it's looking on the underside at the moment. And again, on this side, we're just going to repeat what was done on here for this one. So just going to pivot that round in here, so it's just across, and then you're going down from that one down into that center one there. And again, you're just going to, like previously, you're just going to follow this V shape by going through, by going up 1 square and then missing a square and going down here to form this V shape. And you're just going to do the same as what you did for this side here. So again, once you've repeated that stitch sequence, including the long stitch like you have for this one here, you're then going to repeat this little section here again. And again, for each section of this, we're just going to use the instructions previously used if you want to refer back to see how that was done. So again, you're just going to go across back into the top of this one here, and then again count out. It's always the 4 circles on this one, and you just go back down into that V shape again. So again, once you've done that section there, you're going to follow this kind of V-shaped thing again that I showed you earlier onto this way. So you're just going to continue that along down there. Again, you're just going to pop into that one there and go back through where that last stitch was worked. I'm going to go up along, forming that V shape, going 1 up to the next one each time for a total of 6 stitches, and then you're going to do that long stitch just to cover the join between the sets of these 2 lots of V stitches here. Now something else I just wanted to quickly show you, if you get to the point where you're running out of thread and you're on this section, or even when we get to the next part and you're really struggling to get your needle under because it's just really in an awkward place where the box just won't allow you to sort of thread your needle through, it's just too difficult and you don't really want to be trying to thread it over lots of other threads to make it untidy. What you can do is use this crochet hook to try and thread some of it under. So you can just go underneath the stitches here, wrap it using your thumb, just wrap that around the crochet hook there, and you literally just pull it through, and then you've weaved in those ones. It's easier to do it with a crochet hook rather than if you're trying to do it with a needle when it kind of won't go anywhere. So you might want to try that if you're struggling to try and get a neat finish of threading in your stitches. The other alternative is, because we've still got the last section to still sew, you could just leave a long thread but remember to hold it underneath as you sew. But you've just got to remember to do it, otherwise you'll just have like a loose thread hanging if you don't do that. And then we just literally snip it off again as before, just to give that a nice finish there. So again, we've almost got round here now, and we've got 2 more sections left. So we've got 1 more of these left over here and this one left here. So again, we're just going to go into that stitch there and then count up 4, and again just keep going down like we've done previously on the other ones until we get to the end here. So almost round there now. I've sewn them last ones of that shape, and then we're just going to do this final sort of V shape, the long stitch here, and follow that through there. So again, you're just popping your needle through that stitch there and then counting down 4 into that previously worked long stitch, and then we're just going to go up again, up 1 circle each time and across, for a total of 6 stitches. And then we're just going to make that final long stitch and then fasten off there. So you've now got the centre and the outer section complete here, and all that's left now is just to do the final border part in the yellow. So again, we're just going to get an arm's length of the treble 5 shade, and join that to our needle. So with this outline border, we're just going to fill in basically what's left of the circles, just to give it some colour, and that you don't have any more circles without any thread in them like left. So again, I'm just going to initially go in with a decent length, just so I can secure that as I go to sew. And I'm just going to start with this section here. So the stitch lengths are different here depending on how many there are needed in each circle. So first of all, I'm going to start over here in this corner, and I'm going into the existing stitch that was previously worked in the burgundy colour, and I'm just going to go up by 1 stitch on that one. And you can see little stitch has been worked there, and then you're just going to follow this through like that. So you go into the next previous work stitch, because you will share a circle with these, and then back to the top. So you're almost stepping down the Bargello stitches again, and again you're going to do that again there, and go back to the top, and you're going to do a longer stitch here, again just sharing the previous worked one there and popping your needle through. And on the back it's covering this long stitch here as well, where you've temporarily put a knot there. So again, you're just going to pull that through. Again, you're just going to go to the bottom there and just do a really long stitch there. Then you're going to go back to that one and there, across, and you're just joining in where there's sort of all the stitches here, and basically doing these longer stitches just to fill up the border section here. Again, you're just going to go through. And go back down there. And again back down to this one. You've just got a slightly longer one there again. And you just go along, and on this one we're going to do a couple of little stitches, otherwise it's quite a long stitch to do. I mean, you could do just one big stitch if you wanted to, but on this one I tend to just go and I count up 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, and pull that through, and then I just go to the top bit here, pull the needle through and go back down to where that last stitch was worked. And I'm just going to snip off this knot because it's now going to be in the way, so I'm just going to snip that off without catching my other stitches, so I can continue to work now. And that's been secured underneath there. So again, this is going to be a slightly different one as well. It's going to be a slightly longer stitch. So I'm going to go down to here and count down 4 back into the existing one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to go back to the top there, pull the needle through and count up 3 and pull that through. And again, I'm just going to go across and mirror this side of what we've done to this side. So you just literally copy all the stitches, the lengths, as you work back out this side, like so. And we're just going along, and like I said, just basically it's just filling in. You're filling in the gaps here. There's no particular pattern as such like there was on these sections. You're just filling the outer edges just to get that even square edging on the trinket box. And then we're just at the final piece here, where again we just work up these stitches like we did on this one here. And then you've just got that final little 2 circles there. You just need to pop it through on. And then you're going to get to this section here, which again follows this kind of weave through, as you can see here. So all you do on this one, you do this kind of the V shape again. So what you first do is you go down to the bottom bit there where that last long stitch was worked, and then you just pull your needle through, and then again you're just working one up directly up the middle there, and you're just going again across as you work up those stitches. You can see there. You just go through. And then you miss that top one there, and then you're just going to go back through here and pull your needle through. And just pull that through. And you're just doing this V shape again, so you're just going back into where that previous stitch was worked. And then you're going through there. And again, on that one there, and you just pop your needle through, and back up there, and then you're just going to do one long stitch like this has been, just to cover there, and you're just going to pop that back through, just through there. Just give it a little wiggle if it's a bit tight because you've got the previous stitches there. And that should then just pull through. So what you're going to do is you're going to repeat that and that for these sections here all the way around, and just copy what I've shown you there, and you'll do it all the way around in the same shade. And here is the box once it's finished. Now ready to use.